everybody! Valentine's Day is one of my favorite times of year. Even if you don't have a romantic partner, it's a perfect time of year to pamper yourself or someone else that you love, like your family or friends. In these next videos, I'm going to show you how to create an extraordinary bath time experience. I'm going to show you how to create an exfoliating body butter bar for use in the bathtub or shower. Then I'm going to show you how to make a vegan foaming milk bath. When you get out of the bathtub, you can use my edible whipped body butter that I showed you how to make on this YouTube channel last year. If you don't want to make these yourself or you don't have time, you can go to my website, mamawillowtree.com, and click on the products page. There you can find the exfoliating body butter bar that we're going to make today in chocolate vanilla nut and the vegan foaming milk bath for purchase. As always, 5% of all sales go to nonprofit and everything is $12 or less. First, we're going to make the solid exfoliating body butter bar, and this is for use in the bathtub or shower. It will melt upon contact with your skin, and we're going to add some grains to provide some exfoliation. I'm going to give you this recipe in terms of percentages and also in terms of grams that I've used. You don't have to write this down. You can go to my website, mamawillowtree.com, click on the Musings tab and find the recipe, and it will be there. So I'm going to use 40% cocoa butter. So for this I'm going to make 120 grams. So I'm going to use 48 grams of cocoa butter. I'm going to use 36 grams of shea butter, 12 grams of palm kernel oil. Now you don't have to use the palm kernel oil, you can just add more shea butter if you like. And then I'm going to use what I've ground up. I've made a powder out of whole vanilla beans, and I added some ground up almonds as well. So this is going to be the vanilla portion of that. And then I have 6 grams of adzuki bean powder. So these two combined come out to 20%. And then I'm also going to use 1/2 teaspoon of raw cacao powder. That's going to be the chocolate portion, and in addition to the cocoa butter, it's going to give it a rich chocolatey smell. Okay, so here we are at my double broiler again, and I have the heat on low. So I'm just going to start adding my solid butters here. I'm going to add the cocoa butter and the shea butter and the palm kernel oil all in here. And I'm going to let those melt until they get to a liquid state. Okay, so my butters are completely melted here. They're in a liquid state. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to transfer it to a different jar to make it a little bit easier so it's not so hot to deal with. I'm going to pour it in here. Now, with a lot of body butter bars, you add wax, but I'm not adding wax to this one because I want it to melt really easily upon contact, but still maintain some sort of solid shape outside of the bathtub or shower. That being said, if you live in a warm area, don't leave this in your car because it's going to melt and become something completely different. So we're not adding any wax to that. So here it is. My butters are in their liquid state. I'm going to add my raw cacao powder and give it a stir so that it dissolves. And then I'm going to add my grains, my vanilla beans with almond. Give it a stir, and then I'm going to add my adzuki bean powder as well. And give it a stir. So now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to transfer it into my molds just yet because what will happen is if you put it in your molds when it's this liquidy, your grains are all going to fall to the bottom, which is fine. You'll just have all your grains on one side, and it actually is not too bad. But I want some of them to be suspended. So I'm not going to put this in my molds yet. I'm going to let it cool for a bit and then stir it so that it's not so liquidy and the grains can actually suspend themselves before I put them in the mold. So in order to do that, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for a little while. So while that's in the refrigerator cooling off just a little bit, and again, I don't want it to cool so that it's completely solid. I just want it to be a little bit still soft. I'm going to show you, while that's in there, I'm going to show you the molds that you can use to make these. You don't have to use anything special. I'm actually going to use these molds here that have little bumps there for massaging, just to because they're nice, and these will be on my website store. But you don't have to get fancy with anything. You can actually use anything you have. Muffin tins, muffin holders are nice, or you can get just little silicone molds of any kind. I like to use the silicone mostly because it is easier to pop out. But again, you don't have to use anything special. If you have an old yogurt container, anything really will work. Okay, so I've let this cool for a bit, and it's not completely solid. As you can see here, it's not completely solid, but it is a little bit thicker. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my little stirring stick here and stir it quite vigorously, so that I can get all of the grains that have settled down at the bottom and get them to be distributed throughout our oils here. Okay, so this is not at all hot. It's not even warm, so it's going to probably set pretty quickly. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep stirring it here. I'm going to put it in my mold, and then I'm going to put it right in the fridge so it hardens as quickly as possible, so that the grains don't have a chance to settle down to the bottom. So I'm going to pour it in my mold here. Perfect. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and let that harden. Okay, so I've had those in the refrigerator for about half an hour, and as you can see, they are hardened up. And these are the type of molds that I have. They're like little massaging molds, and because of the shape of the mold, some of the grains did float to the bottom. I've actually used it, and it makes a really nice effect, actually. And so you can see how they're suspended there. And so what you'll do, again, this will melt with your body temperature, so you don't want to leave it in a warm area or your car. But when you are in the bathtub or the shower after you've bathed, you can rub it on, and the vanilla, the ground vanilla and almonds and azuki beans will act as an exfoliant, and then you just rinse it off. And you may or may not need an additional moisturizer depending on your skin type. So what I'm going to do to package these, I just have these nice little round jars here for resale. But if you're going to give this to a friend or family member, then you can just wrap it in some tissue paper or a nice cupcake holder, depending on what you've used as your mold. So there you have it. This is a wonderful Valentine's Day gift, a nice treat for yourself or someone that you love. Thank you so much, and be well.